Hello, lovelies people of the world. For me and for maybe everyone in the world. We have just shot a video for our Turkish channel and I love the content so much that I wanted to share it with you guys as soon as possible, so I'm shooting it just afterwards. I want to share with you 5 preparation things that I do almost every week so that every day when I have to cook, it makes my life so easy. It just takes me like 10 minutes in the kitchen and I get it like a 2-course dish, which is incredibly healthy and at the same time very, very tasty. And some of these methods are discovered by me and some of them were adapted from my family and old traditions, etc, etc. Let's start immediately. I like eating vegetables and I like eating salads, but I'm usually very lazy. I spend my days in the kitchen, but when I go home and tired, sometimes I don't want to do a lot of work. So, what do I do? Usually I shop from open bazaars, which is like fresh food straight to my kitchen, and it's really good because if it's from a supermarket something, they take longer time to travel and sometimes the vegetables go bad faster. So when you're shopping veggies and greens, try to buy them from open markets. Anyways, I shop for my greens and I come home. What do? I clean my veggies. First off, I start with the herbs, the parsley, the rockets, or my lettuce. Put them under the running water and then I put a vinegar in a bowl and a bit of water and I let them stay for inside so that all the pesticides and etc dissolve. Vinegar helps to clean them much better to the little edges, etc. And then other vegetables like small broccolis, Brussels sprouts, and anything that you want to use as veggies for the week. It could be carrots, it could be cabbages, cauliflower, anything. I clean them, I cut them in pieces, and then I put a towel and pat them and dry them, and I put them into jars. You can put the veggies one by one, or you can put them in layers, so that if you want to make a stir fry, for example, you can use it from the jar. The longest thing that will cook should be on top, the easiest to cook should be on the bottom. That's the basic rule when you do a stir fry. And we have a great video for stir fries to eat a lot of vegetables, and it's here. You should watch it sometimes. It's a great video. You can use these veggies in combinations. For example, if you buy, let's say, a whole broccoli, but you won't be able to eat it in one time, by distributing in different jars, you can have several dishes and you can eat the rainbow in a different scale for the whole week. This way, when I want to make it, let's say, from a cauliflower, a small Refika İskender, I put it on the stove, put a bit of cauliflower and then a bit of garlic and then stir fry it for 5 minutes and then put yogurt and tomato sauce and here, voila, it's great. And if you have some, for example, minced meat, you put it on and it becomes a great gluten-free İskender kebab. Or in Turkey we have something called zeytinyağlı, which is olive oil dishes they are called. You put a bit of olive oil, then you put, let's say, your Brussels sprouts and then fry them and add a bit of garlic and then fry them again for 5 minutes, add a bit of water so that if any part didn't cook, all the things get in, but a little bit of not so much. And then here you go, you have great Brussels sprouts. Same for anything. Or you want to make a great soup, you add all the veggies you want to put and then boil them and then my English is gone. Side effects of the holiday. And then here you have a great balanced soup which is ready to eat. With these you usually use a bit of onion or garlic. So for the garlic you chop them and put them in a small jar, or you beat them and then put a bit of olive oil and salt. That's fresh for 4 or 5 days maximum. But when you chop it and pat it dry, the garlic stays for a week in a very good shape. And for the onions, chop them and then put them in a jar. You can push the onions like that. Or you fry them a bit and then put them in a jar with the olive oil inside. so that in every dish you want to put, let's say you want a bean stew, you just put the onion and the olive oil and then fry them a bit and put a bit of tomato puree or paste and then put the beans and then put some water, and here, voila, you have a great bean stew. Also, for the salads, you also have to layer these veggies. The basic rule there is the one which is the juiciest should be on the bottom, the one which is the driest should be on top. The one at the bottom, like let's say it could be a tomato, then some onions, then some cucumbers, then some, let's say, parsley, and some nuts, for example. That can go in that order. If you're gonna use the whole jar, add a bit of olive oil, then a bit of salt and vinegar, and close it and shake it well so that the sauce gets into all of the content. Take your plate. Woo! Here you have the salad, and add your spoonful of chickpeas. Da-da-da-da. When you make a salad, you can have a side sauce. You can make it immediately, or you can make a jar at the side and you can use it in several days. I myself use some of the jars for 3 weeks. For the salads, they are fresh for a week. You wouldn't believe it, how fresh they can stay. The basic rule is to dry it all, but once you do that and you buy fresh, a week is not a dream, it's great. And if you try it for once, you won't believe how easy cooking becomes and how pleasant it becomes. So, strongly suggested. Before I elaborate in the video, I want to ask you something. If you love this video, if you like watching our videos, if you appreciate our effort to give you good content, please subscribe if you haven't. And please also show your appreciation by liking the video and leaving a little bit of comments, or a bigger comment on the comments. They are the things that what keeps us going in every way. Let's come to the second one. Second one is boiled legumes. What is legumes? It's everything that is like you can buy dry. It could be black-eyed peas, chickpeas, mung beans, green lentils, red beans. What you do normally, you can buy them from a store in cans. Or if you want to make it at home, you clean them and you put them in water and boil them. Boiling times are here. You can use them for the pressure cooker. If you're not using pressure cooker, it's almost twice the time, but you can like check each time by eating it because they sometimes differ. And you take the gassy water, which creates some gas when you eat them, and you put fresh water, and then you put some salt when it's almost cooked. While it's still boiling, put them in jars and close them with a fresh lid. And then you can use them for about 4, 5, up to 6 months, depending on the heat of where you live. Put them in dark place and cool place. Sometimes you may have a hard time opening a jar, and if that happens, turn it down, beat it several times, and it will be very easily opened. Once you open them, put them in the refrigerator. That's the basic rule. What can you do? You can do hummus. You can use all the legumes for the fresh salad that you make. You can eat it with some rice, pilav. Or you can make a pot dish. For example, you put the onion that we made for the vegetables, you put a bit of tomato puree and add, for example, the peas, and then put some water, and in 5 minutes you have this great food. You can even add some meat inside, and then it will be a great casserole dish. Or what you can do, you can use these legumes with the soups. Soup is a great way for a balanced diet. You can eat vegetables with it, and also you can use soups like if you don't want to eat a lot at night, especially in winter time. You make a soup and add some of these legumes, some vegetables if you like, and then you have something to chew as well, and it's a big bowl and it's great. So soup can save the world in that sense. That's a different story, but you can use it that way. You can use it in a yogurt soup, which I want to make this season for you. We have this cold soup called ayran aşı, which is great. You can use it in those, any kind of things. These legumes are great. It will save you a lot of time and it will give you a balanced meal anytime you like. Of course, we can do a lot of salads. We can do with a lot of green salads with a bit chickpea on top, peas on top. Or we have Turkish salads, something called piyaz, which you put some peas with onions and sometimes with a bit of olives, some parsley and olive oil, maybe a bit of tahini, and here you have this great salad. And you can have versions of this onto your own imagination. When it comes to the third thing, it's the meat. Okay, what I believe is when I was a small child, we almost never ate like big chunks of meat or big chunks of meatballs. We would eat it like once a month, twice a month. But what we used to do, we would like get 100 grams of something, chicken, beef, or some minced meat. And for 100 grams, we were 5 people when I was growing up. That 100 grams gives a taste to the whole dish. So how can you do that? For example, you have chicken, a kilogram. It could be thighs, it could be the breast, it could be mixture. Divide them in chunks or buy it like that. Put some red pepper paste, put some tomato paste. You grate the onion and just put the juice or some yogurt for the acidity. Kefir would do. One of those 3 would work. Some cumin for it to make it more meaty and kebab-like. And then some garlic, and it becomes amazing if you want some thyme as well. And you mix it. If you have time, let it sit for a while. If you don't have time, just like start to fry it on a big pan or 2 pans. Don't overcrowd them, then it will start to boil. It's very important. After it cooks, and you understand how it cooks by putting a wooden spoon, and if the meat separates, then the chicken is cooked. And then put some water for the whole surface. And why am I putting water suddenly of this cooked dish? It will absorb all the taste left in the pan, first of all. And then if I'm gonna make it into kind of a casserole, or I'm gonna mix it with pilau, the nice juice mixes with whatever the ingredient is and it becomes so tasty. Divide it into like small chunks. If you have a muffin tray, you can put them in those trays for the portions that you want to use each day. After it cools down, put it into the freezer. And then when it totally freezes, take them out, put them in bags, and then each time you want to use it, just take one and it will be perfect. How can I use this chicken, if you ask? You can make a wrap. You can make a salad and put them on top. You can mix it with pilau and it becomes like a burrito, like if you add some veggies as well. Amazing. You can use it in casserole dishes, as I said, when you're preparing beans. It could be beans with a bit of chicken, or you can use it for the stir fries. How can you do that? You put it on the pan, you let it defreeze on the pan, and then you start to add the veggies, and here you have one of the most beautiful stir fries. You can even add noodles and it becomes another story. When it comes to meat, I have 3 kinds of meat which I usually use. One is the chicken, the other one is the kıyma, which is the minced meat. What I do, I turn it like a kebab, and I have a video for it. I put the longest link here. Basically what you do, you fry it with a lot of onions. If you have half a kilo of minced meat, you put almost a kilo of onions, and then you fry it slowly, and then you deglaze the pan again, and then here you have the perfect kıyma. You can put them in plastic bags, and then after it totally cools down, push them so that it doesn't take a lot of fridge space, and put them in the freezer. If you're gonna use your mincemeat for the whole week, you can put it in a jar and use it in different recipes so that you don't use extra plastic bag. By the way, the plastic bags that we use them over and over again. Hope one day we won't use them at all. And each time you need it, you might want to make a börek out of it. You can make a pasta and add the minced meat. All the casserole dishes is great. Again, salads and pilavs and everything. Or you can just use it plain. I remember the Halloween is coming, so friends of mine were coming for the Halloween, and at the time, I didn't know that Halloween was like this big thing and you had to have the scary food. One of the dishes that I have made in a very short while was I took my mincemeat out of the fridge, on the pan, reheated it and put it in a long plate, and then took one white stone from the garden and I said Ruhuna el Fatiha, which is the rest in peace in kind of Turkish. And then I had these small flowers dried to make some tea, rose flowers, and then it became a nice graveyard, and it was so easy. So this mincemeat can come to a lot of rescue in life.
yandı, yan.
Third one is köfte. In Turkey, I have found out over 350 different recipes of köfte. So this Anatolia is cradle for köfte. When you have köfte, you have the most pleasurable dish that everyone in the world loves. In the channel, we have a great köfte recipe, so easy to make. It's here. For example, for 250 grams of minced meat, you use dried bread or breadcrumbs, onion, baking soda, and salt and pepper, maybe a bit of butter for the taste. And then you mix it very well, and then here you have voila, perfect köfte that is better than any köfte that you will eat outside, and I can guarantee that as Refika myself. What you do, you put the patties on a tray, you freeze them, you take them out and put them in a plastic bag, and it will be like small stones. And each time you want to use, you can use one, you can use two, any type you like, you can use one by one. And you can use it in pastas, you can use it in pizzas, you can use it together with pilav, you can eat it plain, you can make a wrap, whatever you like, go crazy. Another thing that we can use is stale bread. There's almost no preparation, but you have bread that is going bad. What you should do, like if it's in a plastic bag, take it out, lay it on a place where it can perfectly easily dry. Because if the moist stays in a wrapped place, closed place, then it might turn into green mold. So we don't like that. We just spread it. And if you have dry bread, you can have an instant pizza. You can have a chocolate chip cookie. Yes, you can have a chocolate chip cookie. Or you can turn that dry bread instantly to a very nice toast, by the way, by adding a bit of water and putting it into a grill or a toaster. It becomes very fresh. Or you can have French toast. Or if you're raw minced meat, let's say a bit of salt, pepper, a bit of tomato, maybe grated tomato, and put that onto stale bread and put it in the oven, it becomes something like a lahmacun, which is great. Or you want some dessert and you just have bread. In Turkey, we have something called ekmek kadayıfı. Very simple. Okay, you have again one slice of bread. You put some hot water and mix it with, if you want, honey, or if you don't have honey, some sugar. It could be some molasses as well, but sugar and honey works better. Heat it a bit, the dry bread, and then wet the dry bread with that sherbet, actually, the syrup. And then maybe you can add some cream on top, double crusted cream. And with that, crunchy bread becomes really soft and soggy with that nice honey. It has that flowery smell sometimes, and then the cream, the contrast is so good. If you're not this syrupy person, you can do this actually with some milk and chocolate, or cacao milk and a bit of sugar. That will also work, and that will also be something to enjoy.
Also ice cream.
Ice cream on top. You're right. Fifth thing is preparing a big bowl of pilav. Pilav, it could be in two ways. It could be like what Chinese, Japanese do, like the boiled rice, or it could be like a Turkish style, which you put some butter and then you fry it a bit and then you put water and then it rests. Probably we have made some rice recipe for the channel. I'm gonna put it somewhere, and it's great. This could be plain rice. You can make rice from couscous. You can make rice from bulgur. You can make rice from any kind of vermicellis. It will be even faster. You put some butter and then you put some vermicelli, fry it a bit and put some water. It becomes very nice. And what does this like base do? You put a big bucket of one of these for the week. You can turn that rice into an egg and veggie rice. You can use the veggies as well. You can make a burrito out of it. Put some meat, you put some veggies and put the rice and wrap it, and it will be great. Or you can just eat it with some legumes, and you can make Nusret's sushi that we made last week. All those would do. So these are like 5 things that I do use. If you have anything else that you use, please write them down. I'm gonna read them all. You might say, Refika, you said like 5 things. Okay, 2 of them don't take a lot of time, but the other 3 do. But what I say, for example, if you boil the legumes, you don't have to do it for every week. You have to do it like once in 2 months or something. The veggies probably every week, and the meat maybe once a month. So that 1 hour time is more than enough, and you'll be so satisfied with the things that you do, and you'll find out that you don't spend a lot of time, a lot of money while shopping, while thinking about what to order, etc., etc. And because you know the pans that you cook in, the oil that you use, the quality, your health is going to be much better once you use your homemade stuff, and you'll feel that you take care of yourself. It's like going to a gym or something. You'll be more balanced and healthy. One thing that I can say there's a risk to is there's going to be a lot of great things in your fridge. Maybe you want to eat more. That is something you have to be careful at, and otherwise you're gonna be fine. And if you do this, please send me some photographs from refika@refikanınmutfagi.com. I wanna see what you do, and I'll be so happy. And maybe I can send you some presents from Refika'dan, some cutting boards, knives, or something like that. Maybe you'll be inspiration for others once we share them. If you give the permission to share that. That's all. Take great care.